Hare Krishna devotees. Today we will be entering our 8th chapter. A lot of questions from Arjuna, as usual, in fact, more of it, a lot of knowledge. So please pay attention. And before we start our chapter, let's start off with our Mangalacharan. Right? Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamaya Dadati Swapadhatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Abhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So Hare Krishna devotees, so all ready? Whoever wants to read, as usual, can raise your hand. Today is a very technical kind of a thing. So, oh yes, thank you, Ritu. Hare Krishna. So let's see. This opens with a question. So let me just start off, reading this. Just 1 second. So all have started buying Bhagavad Gita on your own. All of you all have Bhagavad Gita. I'm not listening. I'm not able to hear.
I have ordered.
Okay, all in the chat. Okay, as usual. Rekha, can you just pause recording? I'm having a challenge in screen share for a second, please. Last time also. Hare Krishna. So chapter 8, we are talking about Akshara Brahma Yoga, which means attaining Supreme, right? So our entire goal of life is to reach Krishna. As I told you all, between 7th chapter to 12th chapter, we are going to see Bhakti Yoga, right? Slowly we will be moving on towards that. So 8.1 I'll read, and after that Ritu you can read. Hare Krishna. Arjuna inquired, "O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is self? What are fruitive activities? What is the material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me." Now this is a flashback. We have to go back to the 7th chapter. And why am I reading these two questions are because the end of the 7th chapter leads these two questions. So in 8.2, he still continues by saying, how does this Lord of sacrifice live in the body? And in which part does he live? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Very important, right? Where does this Lord reside? How will they get to know you? These questions are coming. Why are they coming? Is because of these two verses, which are in 7th chapter. Hare Krishna. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Ashrita Yatanti Te Brahma Tadvidu Krishnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakilam. Hare Krishna. And 7.30 goes like this. Hare Krishna. Sadhi bhutadi devam ham sadhi yagnam chaye viduhu prayana kale apichamam te vidur yukta chetasah. Hare Krishna. So he has got in these words, right? So Arjuna is waiting. Even one word he doesn't understand, he'll immediately catch hold. So which is what he is doing. Oh, Brahma, what does it mean? Adi Atma, what does it mean? Adi Deva, what does it mean? And Yadi Yajna, what does it mean? Right? Prayana Kale. Kale means time. So what does it actually mean? So these are the various questions Krishna is now posed to, right? So Krishna has to answer all these questions because all these are confusions of Arjuna as usual. Right? So let's see one after the other how Krishna answers all of this. So the first question is Brahman, spirit, right? So for the question Brahman, what is Brahman, spirit? He says Jiva. We already saw the spirit soul. The Atma is something which can never be destroyed, right? We saw the size of the soul, which is 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair, right? So it is never going to be destroyed. And what is Adi Atma? We already saw, right? We cannot control Adi Bhautikam, Adi Devikam, or anything else, but we can control, what it is within us, right? So typically the nature of the Jiva, the self, right? What anything to do with your body and mind will come under your Adi Atma, which is largely with respect to yourself, right? And karma. What does karma talk about? These are the fruitive activities, right? Actions leading to the material body, anything related to body, what this particular body has come for depends on the karma it has done, right? The purpose of the body is different, it has to reach Krishna. But the purpose we've got into this body is because of the karma and our longing to help ourselves or to satisfy our desires, right? So that is what is karma. Now, Adi Bhuta is the material nature, right? Adi Baudhika we say, right? So the material nature is this Adi Bhuta. So that is also so clearly given by Krishna. And what is Adi Deva? Adi Deva talks about the universal form which includes all the Devatas, right? All Devatas, right? Which including Shiva and Brahma, right? All these are included in the universal form. So this supreme demigod is who is the supreme demigod? King of gods, which we will see in length, right? What it is and what universal form is, you will see at greater length in chapter 11. But here you'll have a small trailer of that. So let's go through that. And Yadi Yajna is the enjoyer of sacrifice. Who enjoys this? Whom are we doing it for? All types of yagnas are there. And for whose satisfaction? We are doing it to satisfy our Paramatma, right? Super soon. Now, where does he reside? So this is a question, right? So we don't know where Paramatma resides. So he's saying that he is residing in the heart of all. And how to remember? This is a very important question. Every time we'll be thinking, oh my God, just like the exam. I study so hard throughout the exam, throughout the year, but just at the time of the exam, when I open the question paper, oh my God, I just forgot that answer. It is there, but it is not coming into my hand or in my mouth. Yes or no? I mean, that's my sort of a routine. Every time I feel, I've studied and it is there and not there. Am I the only one or you all also feel as usual this way? Very silent. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. So, yeah, thanks, Sri. So, what happens? Now I'm getting the whole team. Now fully charged. The first 2 minutes I set off and you all also went slow. Ananya Sharma, every time. Okay. So I'm very happy that we have very honest set of team here. So, openly telling, yes, this is my confession. So that is exactly what they're talking about. So why do we do, this entire thing is like, it's like it's more like a practice, and the death is an examination, right? So it's more like a rehearsal or it's like a practice, right? So you're just doing that so that you automatically will remember. So now a lot of questions will come in Srimad Bhagavatam. What if you forget? What if you go to autism and, not autism. What do you call that? Memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's and all that. So Krishna is going to give various answers subsequently. So right now, let's move on to 8.3 and hear verse by verse, word by word, what Krishna is telling.
Ma'am, can you just show the last slide?
This one. If you want, I can bring this up after the end of the session also, because each topic we are going to talk about. Shall I take you? Is that fine?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
8.3 you can read, or here onwards you can read.
The Supreme Lord said, The indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called the Self. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma or fruitive activities.
Krishna. So clearly now Krishna is explaining, right? So the indestructible. So we know very clearly the soul cannot be destroyed, right? So the transcendent living entity, why do they call it transcendental? Because we are belonging to spiritual world. We are not supposed to be here. Because we want to lord over, we have come here, right? So this living entity, right, is called the Brahman, and it is also an eternal, and it is called self, right? And what are the thing, any action we do, right? Whatever we do, I do a particular action, I get a body to suit that. So an action pertaining to the development of these bodies, right? Because my body is developed based on the action I've done. It could be anything. It could be papa, it could be punya, right? So technically here, all the actions you all have done, I can tell you for sure is punya, which is why we all have an opportunity to sit right here and listen to Krishna's glories, right? And this version, right, what Krishna spoke, that is spoken, we have a chance to hear. So this very clearly said that we have done some punya karma, right? So now punya we saw here, this is a general cycle, what happens, so what happens, right? So we saw punya, right? So if you do punya, as a Brahmin, go preach, or as a Kshatriya or a Vaishya, you give a lot of things. What is the scope? You are actually advancing, right? So you will be, in 6th chapter we saw, right? You will be born as a Suchiman or Srimata. Right now, if you go and do the Papa Karya, which is there as per the pictures last, towards the end, you will get a body which suits you, right? So if you're going to eat anything, right, you preferably can enjoy more if you're in the body of a hog, because the senses of the animals are much higher, much higher than us. Their enjoyment on certain areas, right, are more, right? So we can do only so much, right? For example, if the food is provided for us, we need it in a reasonably decent thing, right? We cannot, just because we are hungry, we cannot go and take it from a dustbin and eat, right? Even if the food is very tempting, right? There are experiences, I think, very nice food, probably even one day old. These days we take even weeks of food. But a few years back, if you see, my mom used to put in the dustbin, I used to have a look. Wow, that is very nice, right? And anything in the dustbin is looking more attractive than the one which is kept elsewhere. But still, we don't go and take it and eat, right? Because we have those, mental reservations and all that. But if we are born as a pig, we have the luxury. We'll be able to eat anything because pig does not have those reservations. So you enjoy in the fullest extent. And he still continues. So he's answered the first question of what is Brahman. He says Brahman is something which can never be destroyed, and that is the soul. So let's hear what Krishna is telling about the next question. And karma also he answered. Now third. Yeah, go ahead, Ma. 8.4.
Physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. The universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord, and I am that Lord represented as the super soul dwelling in the heart of every embodied being.
Hare Krishna, this physical nature, right? He very clearly is telling the physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. So which means that this can never be ending, right? So the physical nature will go on and on. And the universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord, because the universe, we already saw in the 7th chapter, 7.4, that the universe is nothing but his external energy, right? That external energy of mind, he says, right? So all this is external energy. And what he's saying, I am that Lord represented as a super soul. So who's there? Okay, that external energy is material world. Then who's super soul? That is also Krishna only, right? So he's Krishna, sitting in super soul and dwelling in the heart. So he's also said, where does he stay? In the heart. So he's answered 3 questions, right? He says, who's in the heart? Who is in the heart? He says Paramatma, right? I mean, who is inside you is Paramatma. And where does he reside? Heart. So both the answers he is given, right? So he's speaking about the greatest of all, the gods of all the demigods, whom again the super Lord, right? So he's very beautifully answered all the questions. Now you may tell, oh, how can it be? How can super soul be in the heart? Okay, agreed. Then how can they say that he's a part of the world, right? So it's very conflicting, right? He's inside also, he's outside also. How can it be, right? Because why we are saying it's conflictory is because we are thinking like us. If I'm here and I'm talking to you, I can only be here. I can't be present elsewhere. Whereas if I'm actually, but whereas Krishna, we cannot put in our head, right? So that's why there is this Isha Upanishad, there is a very beautiful mantra 5, which goes like this. So it's Anidya Dekam Manaso Javiyo Nainam Deva Apnuman Purvamarshet Tattavato anyanatyeti tishtat tasminnapo matarishva dadadi. Hare Krishna. So what does it mean? It means that he is all powerful, and he is there in Goloka Vrindavan also, he is here also. He does not walk, but he is swifter than the Devatas, right? So these appear like contradictions, but Krishna is all powerful, that all these contradictions are not actually contradictions, they go in line, parallel, right? So that's a specialty of Krishna. So let's hear 8.5 what Krishna is going to answer. Like, remember, he said, Anta Kale, how will I remember? Oh my God, the most important question. How will I remember? Suddenly, if I forget, like how it happens for us, we study, right? We have so many, we were discussing, oh my God, we study. Exactly when we open the paper, my God, Jishu, everything is gone, right? Revision also, it was so nice, right? So, and especially if anyone has this experience of Viva OC, when the teacher asks a question, it's like either the question is never heard of, or the question is so familiar, but the answer is not familiar at all. Right? All these experiences start hitting off. And let's hear what Krishna is saying. Hare Krishna. Anta kale cha mam eva shmaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samat bhavam yati nasti atra samshayah. Hare Krishna.
And
whoever
whoever
at
at
the
the
time of
time of death
death
quits its body, remembering me alone at once, attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he's very clearly told, anyone who thinks of me at the time of death, it's a guarantee, right? So even if we buy a particular item in the house, we have a warranty card, but there is no guarantee. There's no guarantee that sure it will happen. But here Krishna is giving a guarantee that all this, right, at the time of death, if anyone remembers, he will never, no matter what happens, he will never be able to, he will definitely remember me and he will come to me, right? He will attain my nature means what? His superior nature. That is what he's talking about, which means what? He is loka, his spiritual world. That is what he is referring here. So he's automatically telling. So can someone guess the picture? Who's the person who's lying down?
Bhishma Pitama.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So Bhishma Pitama is, Mahabharata Yuddha. He is lying in the bed of arrows, not roses, arrows. And all these Pandavas are actually sitting there, right around. And, he is seeing Krishna. So just imagine, he has also got a very lovely blessing that he will die as per his wish, right? Two things. One is we don't have that luck. We don't have that varam. Second thing is we will never, probably we will not be that blessed to have Krishna right before him, right? So just imagine right there Krishna is coming. But what happens when we do Mahamantra, we are going to get Krishna right before our eyes. So that's our specialty. Now, this is a very beautiful story. Can you guess who he is? Can anyone guess who this is? No? Okay. So this is the story of Yaksha. These are Pandavas, and when they go on Vanavas, right, they go to the forest, there will be a lake, and one after the other, they'll drink that water. As against Yaksha, Yaksha will warn, telling that you should not, drink, but he will drink and they will all go flat. And so what happens is Dharmaraj comes and Yaksha will say that, he will ask a few questions, of which he says, what is the greatest wonder? So that is what is going on here. Hare Krishna, it's ahani bhutani gacchanti hayamalayam sheshastavaram icchanti kim asharyam atha param. Hare Krishna. So he's saying, sorry, go ahead.
Hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. Hare Krishna.
So he says, what is the greatest wonder in the world? So many people die, right? There is no point in time, you can tell that I've never seen a death or never heard of a death. And you see everyone passing by, right? Near, dear, far, close, neighbor, relative. But what do you always think? You think death will happen, but not for me. And this one you can relate, what not to death. We can all relate to COVID. Initially, when COVID came, forget the fear when we got in, but initially, what was the feeling? COVID will come, but it will not come to me. Some part of our mind, yes or no, just think deep. There's some part of our heart will say that, yes, COVID will come, but not for me. I'm not even relating to the way in which we care about our hygiene. It's not that, I'm using sanitizer, I'm not using sanitizer, I'm not getting into that. But some part of our heart always tells, not me, it won't come to me, somewhere, yes or no, some part of our heart, I am like, Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, true. Yeah, thanks, Shri. Thanks, Anand. Yeah, somewhere, so same way about death only. See, we can relate to something which is much closer to us right now. So, and death is something also is true, right? So anyone, even if they're 95, 99 years, they will not feel that. They will feel this kind of a story, right? And so that is the speciality of the death, right? So they always feel this goes on. So now, and one more ironical story about this death is I used to have a relative who used to always tell that, at the age of 60, everyone should die. So when I was little, I heard this story. He said, no, at the age of 60, sure, nobody should live, above 60, which included his mom also. He was telling, that then probably was young and younger than his mother, of course. And then, what happened is he reached the age of 60 and he changed that. He increased the lifeline. He said, no, 60 and all is not an age, at least 65. Then he reached 65 and then he extended it to 70. Then, I think he reached some 75 and then 80 and then he kept on extending. Right. So what happens is this is the feeling, right? So when it comes to others, it's like others, but when they come to themselves, they keep raising the bar. So, suddenly I thought I'll share that with you. Hare Krishna. So 8.6, let's say what it says. Yam yam vyapi smaran bhavam Tyajatyante kalevaram tam evaiti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavitah. Hare Krishna.
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So nice, right? So he says, whatever state someone thinks of me, that state they will reach when me attains me, right? So this story, I think I already told you, right? Bharat Maharaj, right? So I left the suspense part of it. Not the suspense, I didn't want to leave that story with a note of tragedy. So what happens is, I told this, Bharat Maharaj gets so much induced by the fact that, he gave up everything at the age of 24, though he was named as, he was a first son of Rishabha, who is the incarnation of Krishna himself. And he was having lovely wife, very cute children, and he handed over the kingdom to his children and he came into sannyasi. But in spite of that, right, he saw this baby deer and started growing and he was constantly thinking. And one day when the deer didn't come, he went in search. And when in that process, he could not find the deer. And when he died, right, he was just thinking, worried about the deer. That was the thing which was dominating. And when he died, immediately he took the form of the deer. But I always tell, right, whatever happens, Krishna never leaves his devotee. So immediately, even though he takes the form of the deer, he actually remembers everything. So the moment the deer baby is born, he will go back to the same forest where he was doing all this tapasya. And immediately the deer also has a natural death. And then the next birth, he is born as, Jadabharata to a Brahmin. And that's again a big story, which I will tell you when the picture comes. Otherwise, I'll tell at the end of the session. And there, they will tell the story of how he goes. So this is a story, which I told you all, right? So he will take the small deer, but his entire mind and heart goes into this yagna. He's just not able to concentrate because his mind is there. If the deer goes and does not come, he'll be thinking, what happened to the deer? Maybe the deer doesn't like me. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe I'm not taking care of the deer. Something or the other, he will go on and on, right? But as a renounced order of life, he is supposed to practice sannyasi, which means he's supposed to think of Krishna only because that's a choice which he took. So what did we see? We saw brahmachari, grahastha, right, vanaprastha and sannyasi. Now he's taken the sannyasi order at a young age, and then if he's a grahastha thinking of everyone, it's fine. But if you take the sannyasi life and then you keep thinking, then the purpose is defeated, right? So let's go on. Still what Krishna is saying. Hare Krishna. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanushmara yudhyacha mayar pitamanu buddhir mame vashyasya ashma asamshayah. Hare Krishna.
Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Hare Krishna.
For all of us who are thinking, can we run away from our exams? No, he's told the answer. See, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna. So he's very clearly telling in which form also, right? At the same time, carry out your prescribed duty. You should think of me and do prescribed duty. No running away, no mrityachara. We saw, right? Anyone who's doing acting. So, you know, mrityachara. So that's not possible. So with your activities, whatever activity you're doing, you dedicate to me. And your mind and intelligence should be fixed on me. And surely you will reach. So he's telling final destination, right? So when I'm telling final destination, I'm not talking about the movie Final Destination. I'm talking about our real-time life of Final Destination. And can you see this boy? Can someone guess who's this boy? Can anyone guess who's this boy? Okay, so he's Prahlad, right? Son of Hiranyakashipu, and he's born in this family of Asuras, right? In spite of that, whenever he gets chance, he will go on. He's 5-year-old and he'll go on Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he will go on and he will talk about a lot of stories of Krishna, and to all the boys in his Gurukul, he will keep speaking the glories. Now you may tell what's so great, but for him it's very difficult because the glories of Hiranyakashipu only should be spoken, and Hiranyakashipu hated him. Not him, hated Vishnu, and also hated Prahlad because Prahlad loved Vishnu. Why? Because Vishnu actually killed his brother. So he wanted to take revenge by killing Vishnu, right? So that is the entire story. So now let's go on to the next thing. Hare Krishna. So this is a nice one. Hare Krishna. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyadhamina paramam purusham divyam yati partanu chintayan. Hare Krishna.
He who meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha Arjuna, is sure to reach me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he very clearly says that who meditates on me, right? And his mind is constantly thinking of me, you know, without even deviating a little bit, he's sure to reach me. He's saying that the person can surely reach me without a doubt, right? There is absolutely no doubt that even one slightest doubt that he will reach. So surely he'll reach me is the guarantee which he is giving. So now why is the story coming up? Can anyone guess what is the story on the right? Okay, this is also a book called The Second Chance, and this will come in Srimad Bhagavatam as well. This is a story of Ajamila. Okay, at the end, I will tell you the story. Now that I finished Bharat's story, lot of stories here, right? Jadabharata and also. Once let's see, then let's dive into that story. Just remind me, okay? Oh, somebody is typing, okay? You want the story now? Okay, so let's do the story now. Okay. Just give me 1 second. So this is a Hare Krishna. So today, this particular thing, what we will see now is the story of Ajamila. So who is Ajamila? So Ajamila is someone who was born in a Brahmana family, very saintly, very nice person. Father is a hardcore transcendentalist devotee of God. He is born there and therefore he knows all Shastras and all. So what did Ajamila do? Let's see, right? So Ajamila actually went to the forest to bring some woods. And that time he saw this prostitute. And, by after seeing this prostitute, what happens is he gets so much impressed with this, he gets disturbed actually. So he sees a prostitute along with another man. And he gets so attracted to the prostitute so much that, he gets married to the prostitute. Right? Somehow he will get married to the prostitute and he will have kids with the prostitute and he'll live. Now, he was a proper Brahmana. You can see, right? He's wearing all the Brahmacharya style, the Brahmana style and all that. But then he will do a lot of abominable things because he needs to keep her happy. So he will rob, he will steal, he will do everything possible. So dirty that, no one can even imagine. So his final time had come, right? So at the time, final time, that is what we say, right? If you remember, Krishna will also remember you. At the final time, what happens is when he is dying, he actually calls for his son, right? So he is at that age, he will call for his son whose name is Narayana, right? Incidentally, he had this blessing to call the last son or name the last son Narayana, and he's a 2-year child. So there's always this tendency, right? So Ajamila is very old. He's about over 80 years old. He's 88, if I remember right. And you can imagine, he starts getting attracted towards his son. towards the end, and he generally, the small ones are the ones whom you are very affectionate to, and they are also very affectionate to you. So he calls the name Narayana. So what has happened for all the mistakes he's done? These are these Yamadutas, right? So dirty looking people, they are the Yamadutas. They've all come to take his life. And correctly, what happens is this very cute looking, aren't they very cute? Yes, right? So they are the Vishnu Dutas. They've come there. So why do Vishnu Dutas come there? Vishnu Dutas have come there because they want to actually see why, they want to come and take him to Vishnu Loka. Now this is so confusing. Why are they allowed into Vishnu Loka? He has done such bad things, right? But because of the fact that he called Narayana. So one time he called, of course, he never meant Krishna. He only meant his son. We all know. Krishna also knows. But we saw, right? Initially, we saw this little mouse which, thought the lamb is strawberry, ran towards it and gave its life. But what did Krishna write? He writes accounts. Okay, this person loves me, that account he writes. Same way he is doing the same accounting, right? He says, okay, this person loves me kind of accounting. He does. And therefore, this cute Vishnu Dutas turn up, because according to the law, anyone who mentions Krishna's name, form, pastime, any thought, or even the name, because the name is not different from Krishna. Anyway, you tell Rain, even if you tell Ade Tenali Rama, or you tell Ayo Rama, or someone will tell Narayana, okay, Govinda, in any expression, anger, fun, in any kind of expression, right? Then automatically it is calling Krishna in that form. So therefore, now this Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas have a huge argument. They go on. Just imagine, one side the Yamadutas are pulling the rope, and one side Vishnu Dutas are pulling the rope. And final judgment is they decide that both can't win. So they decide to give him a second chance. So that book is called Second Chance. Please read in Vedas. Very interesting argument. And both will leave. And then what happens is, since he's been given a second chance, he realizes immediately he will go and start spiritual service. And after many years, or rather few years, he will die and he will go to Vaikuntha, because he likes Narayana, and there he takes the four-handed form. He's entering Vaikuntha, and there anyone in Vaikuntha takes the four-handed form of the Lord. So that is what the story is, because they take the form of Narayana. So that's called Sarupya, right? To take the same Rupam of the God. So if you see Vishnu Dutas also, they are actually looking exactly like Vishnu, right? So beautiful. Why? So handsome, so good looking, because we are all in that Sarupya. So exactly in that same look of Vishnu. So that is a speciality. So let's hear what 8.9 Krishna has to say. You can read now. Unmuted, right? Yeah, please go ahead and read.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and being transcendental is beyond this material nature. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So he very clearly says one should meditate upon the Supreme Person, right? So very clearly who Supreme Person, and who is he? He is the oldest, right? So this one says Venum Konantam Aravinda Dalaya Draksham Barhavatam Sa Asitamuda Sundarangam Kandarva Kodi Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bajami. So somebody who's so beautiful in the personal form. That's why I brought him, right? Who's inconceivable and should always be seen as a person. So, and he is the initial, right? Adi, right? That means beginning as well as end. So he is the one, and he is the oldest, right? So he is the oldest, but still he is the youngest. So he is luminous, he's shining like the sun, and he's very transcendental, and he's beyond the material nature. So that is the speciality of Krishna. So he's telling on whom one should meditate on, and the personal form, right? So these are the two great devatas. One is Brahma, we all know. So whom is Brahma thinking of? Brahma is always meditating on Vishnu. Shiva also is Vishnu. How? Because in Padma Puran, we have Parvati Amma, she's asking Shiva, whom are you always thinking and meditating? He says, I always meditate on Krishna, right? So that is the speciality. So 8.15 say, we're all stuck in this jail. So there are two ways of going. So which are the ways is what we should think of, right? This is a nice picture if anyone was watching the video. So let me chant and then you can read. Hare Krishna. Mam upetya pavanarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gatha. Hare Krishna.
After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to his temporary world, which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly they are saying after attaining me, right? So we reached him. The great souls who are the yogis, right? They are in devotion, never return to the temporary world. Why? Because they are permanently there and it is full of miseries. Why? See, this is temporary, but it is true. See, I am there, that is also true. You're also there, you're also true. But the only thing is, it is not permanent, right? It is a temporary world because this is temporary and only Golaka Vrindavan is permanent, right? So that is what they say, right? So this is temporary world and they have attained the highest perfection because one who, all these great souls, right? Very rare, they are always in devotion, never return to this temporary world because once you go there, there is nothing. Now, while this is again a recap of why Papa and Punya, you want akarma. This is very beautifully stated. You can go ahead and read 8.16. Hare Krishna. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all places are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to guarantee Krishna is given. Why? Because if you see the upper lokas, the heaven, all Swarga lokas, they are constantly war. You would have seen Devadas are fighting with with the Asuras. There is a big war which is going on. So that's a big headache. And when you talk about hell, hell is always a pain. In the third chapter, you will see the various, in the third canto, the 26th chapter, you will see 28 types of hell, specially assigned for us. For all the sins we have done, each allocation is given, You are in this category, you can go here. You are in that category, you can go here. And earth, I don't have to tell you, all have more experience. What happened? So you can see, this is hell. You go through, you're getting burnt in the mold, and how all devatas are fighting constantly is there. So 8.17 and 19, 17, 18, and 19. After each, you can stop. Hare Krishna, you can read now.
By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we already saw the calculation of Brahma, right? So this is like max, but we already finished the max, so we will not repeat. So what happened? We saw that Brahma is 311 trillion years, right? So that is his life. So this brings us that this, 1 day and 1 night is 4.32 lakh years, right? We already saw that. So that is what he's saying. So human calculation, so many years is Brahma. So 1 second of Brahma is equal to our 1 lakh years. So that's a magnitude of time. Hare Krishna. Even you convert to the human thing. And please go ahead.
When Brahma's day is manifest, this multitude of living entitles comes into being, and at the arrival of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what they're telling during the Brahma's day, right? The living entities, everything comes to being, and during Brahma's night, right? Everything gets annihilated. So everything is gone, right? So both happens, right? Comes and goes, which we already saw, right? So during his daytime, equal amount is the night, and coming and going happens. And go ahead on the 8.19. Hare Krishna.
Again and again the day comes, and this host of beings is active, and again the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. Hare
So this is
Krishna.
a routine procedure. So during the day of Brahma, everything comes into existence. And during the night of Brahma, except the top 3 planets, everything else goes down the drain. Right? So that is what he says. So everyone goes into hibernation. So that is why he's telling now he's going to talk about permanent solution. So let's hear. Hare Krishna. You can read my 8.20.
Yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated when all in the world is
Oh,
annihilated.
okay. You can't see that,
part
right?
remains
Never
as it
annihilated.
is.
Correct. When all in this world is annihilated, that part, remains as it is. So what he's telling, we saw during the day and night of Brahma, right? And I told you three worlds are not animated. But during the life of Brahma, right, after his 100 years, right, which is 311 trillion years, everything is gone. Even the top three lokas, which is the heaven, Swarga Loka also goes into under the sea. I will show you Goloka Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan also I'll show you. But what I meant to say is I'll show you the Goloka chart after this. So all this goes off, right? So then, is there anything permanent? Yes. Spiritual sky is permanent. 3/4 is spiritual sky, and the material sky, including all the universes, are only 1/4. So 75% of the area is there. This is only 25%. So that majority spiritual world, nothing happens because it remains as it is. So that is a specialty. This is what I was telling is a Goloka chart, but we will discuss this slightly in depth, right? Because this picture may not be clear. Right. So what is happening in the spiritual world? Let's have a glimpse of this. All this Krishna's glories, pastimes are happening. Can you guess the lady in the blue sari? Can you guess who's this Mataji in blue sari? So these are cows. This is there are 5 rasas of Krishna. The one rasa is a Shantaras, which means, you are in, absolute neutrality, serving in neutrality. Example, cows. Cows do give a lot of happiness to Krishna, and so does he reciprocate, like how here. But that's called Shantaras. And then the next one, thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Thanks to you, Lisa Yashoda, correct. And above that is the Dasyaras. Example is Hanuman. Above that is the Sakyaras, which is Arjuna, right? Friendship. And next, above that is the Vatsalya Ras, which is the mother. Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and all are in the parental relationship. So that is the thing. And these pastimes are still happening here in Vaikuntha, which is actually Goloka Vrindavan, which is one of the planets of Vaikuntha, highest planet of Vaikuntha. Right, it is still going on. And above this is Madhurya Ras. So what is this? This is Mukunda Magla, and we can read the translation. So let's see what this says. Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Adyaiva Me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsaha Prana Pranana Samya Kampavata Pitai Kantavarodhana Vido Smarana Utaste. Hare Krishna. Translation.
O Krishna, please allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower-like feet, just as the flamingo enters into the labyrinth of the lotus flower stem. When at that moment of my last breath, my throat becomes constricted by the action of the bodily humus, air, bile, and phlegm, how will I be able to remember you, Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna. So he is telling so clearly, right? Please allow my mind to immediately eat like lotus, right? Why they take lotus is supposed to be very beautiful. That is one, but other thing, the water, right? In the lotus leaf does not. So same way we are here. So he's saying that at the time of my last breath, right? When I can't do anything, everything is gone. How will I be able to remember? That's what Anta Kalem, right? At the last time, you go through so much pain, you may not even remember yourself, dementia. So how does he do? Is what he's asking, and that is being answered by Krishna in 8.2. Hare Krishna. Vedeshu yagneshu tapashu chaiva daneshu yat punya palam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upeti chadyam. Hare Krishna. You can read. Hare Krishna.
A person who accepts the path of devotional service does not benefit of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly says a person who accepts the path of devotion, right, is not benefit of the results. That's why? Because he doesn't want the results. Akarma, right? Why he does not want? Because he is studying the Vedas, so he knows it. And therefore, he also performs all these austerities, charities, because we are going to see in future. At no point in time, anyone should give up on charity or austerity. And, so this is what, and what happens is ultimately reaches our abode. So he's told how he will reach, right? So he's given a final judgment. How? By pure devotional service only. And by doing punya karma, you will go to heaven. And by seeing papam, you go to hell. But by doing spiritual activities, you will go to spiritual look, right? So let's take a quick summary and synopsis of what we saw. 8 questions are asked by Arjuna, right? That is Kim Brahma, starting from what is Brahma? Kim means what? So, and second point, That is from 1 to 4. All these 8 questions are asked, right? And Arjuna, Krishna, typically 1 and 2 itself covers most of the questions. In fact, all the questions. And Krishna has given answers also. So, and second, now 8.5 and 8 says is Tasmat Sarvesu Kaleshu. How can one remember at the time of death, right? And 8.9 to 8.13 it says Omiti Ekaksharam Brahma. Remembering Krishna by Yoga Mishra Bhakti. What is Yoga Mishra? Mishra means mixed, right? So we cannot have unalloyed bhakti. That will come to the next level. But right now, let's try Yoga Mishra. Even if it's mixed, we'll do. We are all entering that stage. And then 8.14 to 8.16, Dukalema Sharatsvesham. This is permanent. So let's get out of this. You saw that no jailbreaker. So remembering Krishna by pure devotion. And then we also saw, material world and spiritual world. What are the differences? 8:17 to 22. Paras Tasmatu Bhavo Neo. So basically, what is the spiritual world is called Para, and our material world is called Apara, right? So what is great is said that. And finally, supremacy of pure bhakti is attaining Krishna. So what is the actual purpose? Is to reach Krishna. So it says, Atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva, right? So reach Krishna is the final goal. That's a destination. So there's no point in going ahead. And Sangram, I'll take this question because it's too relevant to the topic here. Spiritual world is different from Devaloka because Devaloka is Swargaloka. So Devaloka is where Devagal will reside, right? And in heaven, you have so much of enjoyment. The enjoyment and the pleasure, whatever we are getting, it is multiplied by 10,000 times by the Devatas, right? And they also have Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, but the difference is they do not experience as much as we do. Right, there's not so much trauma, so there's more luxury, there's more of joy, and the kind of sins we have is different, and their categorization is different. Vyadi is also very less, so that is the speciality. So that's different. But here we are talking to go above that loka, and that's called the spiritual world, which is Goloka, and I'm going to show you what that Goloka is right now. Right, Hare Krishna. Now I want to see and hear. We will also do science and spirituality, but who wants to see Goloka Vrindavan chart? How does that look like? Because that's one area we're very curious, right? At least the place where you should go or we want to go, right? Let me see how many yeses are coming. Okay, until then, keep typing your questions. If I get a yes, I'll go to Goloka Vrindavan. I will take you. Yes, I got it from Lisa. Thank you. So just one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So let's go to Goloka Vrindavan. Right. So basically, what is Goloka Vrindavan? And what am I going to share with you is this chart. I will also share this chart in the PDF form, which you can blow it and see at your convenience. But meanwhile, let me just take you one after the other, right? So let's see this chart. And this is my all-time favorite chart. So let me first take you here, right? So what is this loka? Is it clear? So we have this, I'm going to start here. We have Mahavishnu. We have Vishnu. All of us know Vishnu, right? There are 3 types of Vishnu, 3 forms of Vishnu, whichever way you call it. So there is this Karno Dakshayi Vishnu. Okay. Now, every time the Vishnu breathes in and breathes out, he gives out through his pores multiple universes, not just 1 or 2, multiple. This is compared to the number of mustards in a huge bag of mustard. That many universes are there. Can you see this golden balls? Yeah, that is only universe. Now let's take a one, blow up, what do you call expansion of one universe, right? So the outermost layer is called the Mahatattva. What is the Mahatattva? This is the one which, see, I'm making it think, the Mahatattva is basic, and we saw, right? Manifested, unmanifested, that word came. So what is manifested? What you see. What is unmanifested is what you don't see. That's what Krishna is telling. Both manifested and unmanifested is he. And Mahatattva represents the 3 modes also. So we saw all this 5. Remember, the 8 elements are also Krishna of his Panjabhuta, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? Then false ego and Mahatattva are outside covers. So this is like a coconut, right? Various coverings. Now let's go inside each universe. What is happening, right? Inside each universe, there is this Garbo Dakshayi Vishnu, right? So what is the specialty of Garbo Daksha? So Garbo Dakashayi Vishnu is Garba. Garba means, Garbam, right? Which means pregnancy. From his stomach, Lakshmi Devi is serving, but from his stomach, from there, this lotus stem spurts out. And the stem of the lotus is nothing but the various lokas. You have the 14 planetary system. And the flower, on the flower is where our Brahma is. Now, each universe has one Brahma based on the complexity, the number of heads of Brahma is there. So our Loka has a Brahma with 4 heads, right? Chaturmukha, 4 heads Brahma, right? So this is this Brahma, you can see 4 heads, only 3 heads can be seen now in this angle. Now, let me explain from here how the lokas are. From these stem, right? We have so many lokas, right? Now you asked, right, where is Devaloka? Satya Yoga, Satya Loka, Tapoloka, Janaka Loka. These are the Devata Loka. Why? Satya Loka is the abode of Lord Brahma. Then the 4 Kumaras are the son of Brahma, Tapaloka. And Prajapatis, right? Progenitors, those who create humans, right? I mean, human in the sense, all the lives came from them. Is Janaka Loka. Janaloka. And who is Brigu? Brigu is the teacher. He is a guru. Okay, there you have school. See, I told you spiritual world, you don't need school. But in Devata rule, you have Gurukul. You also have, Brihu Muni, who is, so basically you have that and Prajapatis. The teacher of them is called, anybody knows his name is Brahaspati. Right? Brahaspati is the teacher for all the Devatas. So there is typical Gurukul. So this is the thing. So the first 4 lokas are all Deva lokas, right? So we are seeing that. And then you are seeing Swarloka, the abode of the other demigods. So Brahma is there and other smaller Devatas, all of them live in the Swarga Loka. So that is where you can go and enjoy. In fact, if you do a lot of punyam, you can be one of the demigod. They say there are 33 crore Devatas, right? So one among them also. Bhuvarloka is the ghostly spirits, ghosts are there. Now, only after this, I realized ghosts are there. I never knew ghosts are there. This is one shock for me. But the plus point, yeah, thanks, Lisa. Yes, Garbha means womb. So, and one plus point is for anyone who is reading the Maha Mantra, ghosts won't even come near you, so you don't have to worry. So, Bhurloka is the earth, that's where we are all there. The abode of human beings and other mortals. Look at the language, right? All mortals live here. So below that is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. Who are the people who live here? Atala, demons, abode of demons. Again, abode of demons is Vitala, but that's where Shiva is also there to liberate these demons, right? He is not a demon, but he is taking that form. He is very soft by heart. Sutala is Bali Maharaj, right? Who is Bali? Bali is the grandson of our Hiranyakashipu. That is Prahlad's, in fact, great grandson of Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad's grandson is Bali Maharaj. Tala is the, Maya. So all these Maya, Danava, right? He is there in Tala, and Mahatala is Nagas, and from the hood, it's so jeweled that from that effulgence light itself, the whole Mahatala gets, light. And Rasatala is the abode of Daityas. Daitya demons are one category, and from Daitya demon only Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad and all are a part of the same family. Padal is the abode of the Nagas, right? The Vasuki is the biggest Naga, head of Nagi. So she's there. And below that is our hell. See, we should get to know that, right? And what happens after that is from Vishnu, from there only Shiro Dakshai, Vishnu is born. Now we already saw the story of Dhruva, right? And that Dhruva Nakshatram, that star, is the permanent thing which is there in the material world. Everything else gets gone. After the life of Brahma, everything goes into hibernation, but Dhruva Loka is there. And Shiro Dakshai Vishnu. Who's Shiro Dakshai Vishnu? Vishnu, he is the super soul. He is the Paramatma. See? So this is the thing. And Dhruva is the pole star. So this is only the our Loka. So I explained this our Loka. Right now, let's go up. So where are we? We are all here in the material world. Now this opens, above that is Vaikunta. So Vaikunta, we are talking about, there is a Brahma Jyoti. This is energy. We saw, right? Brahma form of realization, Paramatma form, and Krishna is the supreme personality of God. He's a person. We'll go to person later. Now the energy form we are seeing. Paramatma form we saw, it's residing inside. Brahma is the effulgence. That is why great devotees pray, please remove this Brahman effulgence. Because I need to see a beautiful face, they say. It goes like this, Hare Krishna. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pilitam mugam tatvam pushamapavarnyu satyadharmaya drishtaye. So he is telling, please remove this light. I want to see your beautiful face. But to see the beautiful face, we will go to that later. This is called Vaikunta. You will be familiar with. And in Vaikunta, you know what speciality is? In Vaikunta, Narayana is there and he's in the four-handed form. So anyone here will take the four-handed form because they are all taking the same rupa, right? So this is one. So this highest planet, right, is Goloka Vrindavan. Can you see? So remove the effulgence what? To see this beautiful Krishna form. And he is with Radharani, with his Gopas, Gopis, mother, all the pastimes, right? Yashodas, all these are happening. And the outermost flower, the outermost thing is is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This pastimes are going on. So these are the speciality of Goloka Vrindavan, right? Hare Krishna. So clear? Now happy? Any questions? Hare Krishna. If you have questions, go ahead. Otherwise, let's do our mind control. Remember, yesterday we were doing. So let me know if you have any questions before I go to this. Yeah, I'll give you a minute so that you can type the questions. I can take you to mind control meanwhile. You all are so clear, no doubts at all. Okay. So what did we do in mind control, right? We saw the reason as to why you should control mind, right? So and what is the purpose, right? So let me screen share and you'll have better memory recall. So if you quite quickly, if I take you through this, right? We saw all of this, whether we are afraid, save of good habits, mind control, what is the need for mind control, right? All this violence, murder and all keeps increasing. So we should actually control our mind. This is what we saw. We saw divorces, suicides and all, which went manifold, right? So therefore, what is Krishna's judgment? All this we were seeing yesterday. So there are three methods, right? Physical method. So today we will see the physical method of mind control, right? So what are the methods? The so-called physical yoga we do is what we are starting with. So let's see what that yoga system is. So this physical method is all this, right? This exercise, all that by how you can control. Various yoga asanas, pranayama we read, we understood also, right? Breathing exercise, kriyas, purification technique, sitting posture. Remember Ashtanga Yoga? We'll sit in one posture. We didn't have too many of us except one devotee who wanted that, but otherwise. So what are the things which you should constrain? It's eating and sleeping. So this one is in nectar of instruction. First instruction. It goes like this. Vacha vegam, manasa krodha vegam, chigva vegam, mudro prashta vegam, etan vegan vishayanta prinsa, sarvam apiman. So finally what he's telling, vacha vegam, manasa krodha vegam. So all this you have to control all the senses, right? So eating and sleeping is the starting. Early to bed and early to rise makes a person healthy and wise, right? And food, this is something which we will cover in Bhagavad Gita. How our food, has an impact in the body. Example, eat sattvic food, right? Healthy foods, juicy, fresh food. All this will come under the quality of sattvic food. So nice, no? So food plays a very important role. And what is the next thing is urgency to importance, right? What is urgent and what is important? We have to categorize. This one in management we call SWOT test, right? We use the word strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, for which we use this. This is another thing where it's urgent, super urgent, right? You put one and you put super important something, not urgent, not important, right? All these combinations. For example, let's take a small example. You have so many items, right? Room cleaning, computer cleaning, you want to check your mails, you want to study, it's a surgery, it's an accident, smoking, all these habits, right? You can do watch TV, somebody's even taking a dope, right? So if you take, for example, studying, right? So it is but it is important, right? It may not be urgent if it's a regular study. Now, smoking, you can keep typing, that's good. So it is neither urgent nor important. You can live without it, right? Exams are in process. Oh my God, then it will become urgent, right? And normally we realize that only the exam is tomorrow, then only we know. And this comics, right? It is not, it's fine, right? It's not urgent. It's not important either. So these categories, cleaning, it is not urgent, but it's important, right? Because our place, if it is clean, only then we will be able to enjoy and relish. So based on that, so what does it say? If you do important things, just decide, take a pen and start guessing yourself. If you're like this, if you're in quadrant 1, if you can do it, you're a program. Typically, what are the categories of people, right? Those who do in a very mixed way. For example, let me just go to the previous scene, like Ulta. It's very clearly now given. All the exam deadlines, medical emergency will come here. All the other things, wrong calls, spam mails, interruption, we can forget. Gambling, drugs, cigarettes, not at all work. Cleanliness, studying regularly, keeping accounts, right? It's not an emergency. It's not urgent, but it's good to have it, right? It's not urgent, but it's a good thing. So what is the thing which we are talking about? We have something called the management matrix, right? Quadrant 1 talks about the stress and anxiety, right? So typically procrastinators, they'll keep pushing it, right? And others are priorities, right? Quadrant 2 are those which is important, not urgent. If they know to balance, if you know what happens, a control of life is very clear. And their performances are generally very high in quadrant 2. And quadrant 3, will be the yes man. Yes, boss, I'll do this, boss. They lack discipline, but they'll just manage going around. And the slacker, is always guilty, he does not have responsibility. He's not someone who's worth discussion also. Now, this is a very funny video, Liquid Beauty. Now, this is a love story, okay? This is a prince who's very rich, and, he was very fond of this lady. And constantly he was attracted by this lady. She was so beautiful and he wanted, so he was coming. So she didn't know how to handle. She can't tell no because he's anyway going to confiscate her like a thing, or he will kill her. Like one of that he's going to do. So she had to save herself. So she says, okay, give me 15 days, but this 15 days you should not come and watch me. But after 15 days, if you come, the day when you come, right, I will say okay. So the king says okay. The prince says okay, let me give her the 15 days, and he goes. So 15 days, she's like, not eaten anything, and she barely, takes very little. She used to, take tablets to vomit, and she fills it in one vessel, and all her stool she fills here, and she looks so emaciated. Can you see? So thin, she loses so much weight, and when he comes, he asks, where is this girl? Right? This beautiful lady. She shows this is the thing. And he literally runs away, right? So basically, it's a smart way of handling. Don't try all this, but I'm just saying, it's historically it had happened because beauty is what actually attracts, right? So why any of us are attracted to opposite gender, girl to boy, boy to girl? See, you see what happened? Beauty dies with age. The top 8 old lost actresses, right? So Bollywood. So anybody can guess who this is? Come on, all Northeast. So let's see this video. Did I go through this? Yeah. So a lot of human beings you can relate actually are indirectly transformed from some kind of an animal. That's why you see sometimes, when you see a person, you'll see a lot of animalistic look in them. So somebody who, in the mode of goodness, would probably have been a cow. So this is the story of a brahmachari and a rat. So here this brahmachari guru will come and tell him, what is it, I'm going to go on a yatra, on a trip. And, you keep reading and you practice. So this brahmachari just had 2 sets of clothes and he dried the cloth. And what happens to him is as he dried this cloth, a rat came and ate of this. Basically he had bitten the cloth. So he didn't know what to do. He was very stressed, he was confused. So he decides, okay, let me just pick a cat. When you pick a cat, the tendency is the cat will eat the rat. So my dress will be same. Then cat was constantly moving and he didn't know how to control the cat. So he thought, okay, I will put a watchdog. It was also, sorry, not dog, this is about cow, sorry. So, he says that, cat needs milk and, I have to take that. So what should I do? He says, okay, let me buy a cow, right? And the cow will supply milk. And with that milk, I can actually feed the cat. Now, after he does all that, he says, oh my God, taking care of the cow is so difficult, such a huge task. So what should I do? Immediately he says, okay, now what I will do is I'll marry. So that after 1 year, the guru is coming back to this, that is an ashram. When he comes back, he says, where is this Sishya of mine? And he is the Sishya. And all this is this, after many years, he lands up like this. Right? And this is his family. Right? This story was very hilarious actually. And this is what will happen if we try and get into the materialistic world, which is what is this one is a bit of a management term, which is a circle of concern and circle of influence. This is very important. Please pay more attention. So what is a circle of concern? Circle of everything bothers us, right? It is not what happens to us, but our responses to what happens to us that hurts us, right? Physically, you can't hurt me. Not physically, I mean, mentally, you can't hurt me. It's how I take it. So someone tells me that you are a horrible person, right? Your teaching is horrible. She's making a comment. Whether it's rude or not is not, it's a different point. But he or she makes that comment. How I can take it? I can just think that, okay, she's got a bad day. Or I can just tell that, forget it, doesn't matter. Or I may tell, oh my God, how did she tell this? How can she tell? I have so much experience. I can go into that anger mode. Or I can go into a sad mode. Oh my God, she said this, and I am going to give up on teaching. It's just not going to work. This mood, that sad mood, right? So this is our choice. So what is our circle of concern, right? Circle of influence. Everything is concern. Teacher, not good is a concern. Teacher is telling you, don't wear this kind of a dress to college. That's a concern. Now there is a classmate whom you like to talk to, but he or she doesn't even see your face. That's your concern. Exam is coming closer. You don't have books. All of us are struggling in COVID. Remote access is not working. That's our concern. Is there anything you can do about it? COVID is also bothering us. My God, you go out, everybody's talking about COVID, right? So all these are concerns, but can we do anything about it? Yes or no? On the chat box, no. Right now. No, right? So you can't do anything. But what is it you can do? Exam is coming. You can take a book and study. That's all you can do. That's your circle of influence. So an ugly looking boy will feel that I'm not having look, boy or girl, interchangeable. I don't have look, so I don't have anyone, right? Exam results. Oh my God, I studied well, but that's too much. People's love, this person doesn't like me. I want this person to like. My mom likes me more. My father likes her more, right? People teasing you, bully too much, he's just mocking me. My smartness, I'm not having so much of intelligence. He's smarter than me. He's fairer than me. He's whiter than me. My public image, all these are going to be circle of concern. Everything bothers us. And what's a circle of influence? Punctuality. Can I go in time? How sincere am I? Can I self-discipline myself? Can I study for exam? This is the only area of influence. But all those who focus on the circle of concern get confused. But all those who focus on the circle of influence achieve success. Right? So this is what they say, proactive and reactive behavior. So what does proactive people do? They focus on the circle of influence. They work on the things they can do something about, right? That is proactive. What they can do, what they can control. Example, COVID. None of you can do, but look at classic example. Yes, you can't have too much of games. You can't go out, right? Yes, it's bothering. Yes, you can't go to library. You can't, go out with friends. So you therefore do one thing like listen to Bhagavad Gita, right? You're doing it. That's something within your control. But what do reactive people do? Constantly cribbing. They focus only on weakness. Oh my God, had COVID not been there, I would have been state ranker. Hey, buddy, pass nobody right now. Forget about state rank, right? Can you relate? You can relate to anyone. Somewhere we'll be in between. Inside out, I can be more patient. I can be more cooperative. I can be wise. This is what a proactive person thinks. Reactive person, no. If I had some friends, if I had better face cut, if I blew at better colleagues, it's always right. So proactive person focuses on the problem, whereas other person works on the solution. So what is it? Direct control on the problems depend on your own behavior, depend on others, right? Indirect control, right? What is happening? Problem involving other people's behavior, right? We can't actually change somebody's behavior, right? But you can change the way we are looking at the person. We don't have control over them. Problems we can do nothing about, right? Just smile and live with the problem. I don't have a choice. A meaningful prayer in the morning. Oh Lord, give me the courage to change the things which can and ought to be changed. The serenity to accept the things which cannot be changed and the wisdom to know the difference, right? So this brings us to the end of this, and we will do mental methods tomorrow or day after. One of these days we will do. I hope you enjoyed. So no? Yeah? Okay, now let me just take the quick questions. Yes, Shri. Does astrology exist? Yes, it does. But people are not knowledgeable enough today. Those days they had a lot of knowledge, so they were able to predict what was going to happen. But here today, nobody is that knowledgeable. So whatever they guess is more commercial. Now, in spite of astrology, what happens is Krishna dominates all this. The good time, bad time, all this for those who are devotees of Krishna does not apply, because Krishna directly handles them. He takes control, right? So for a child, or all of you all, when you're in LKG, do you go and ask your mom, Mama, you may ask, Mama, what did you pack for me? Because you want the interest. You have an interest to eat the food. You want to know what is there, but you don't have a doubt whether your mom has packed the food, right? Your default taking care. Do you ever ask your mom, Mama, did you make food for me? Did you put water in the water bottle? You don't do that, whether you're LKG or whether you're, whatever. Why? Because you know, right? So that way Krishna takes control. And astrology, time, day, nothing can control. or touch or come close to a devotee of Krishna. Yeah. Is there any other questions? You can even unmute and ask. Shri, did I answer your question? Hare Krishna. Why is flamingo used? I'm so sorry. I do not know which context this is and where it is. Vaibhav, can you unmute yourself? And Sangram's question, I have already answered. Spiritual loka is different from Devaloka because spiritual loka is permanent. Devaloka also goes under the water. Vaibhav, if you're still there, you can unmute. Otherwise, today, tell me who's going to chant. Today is the 8th chapter, 8 into 6. Come on, Max, 8 into 6. Don't tell me, 8 into 6 also you'll have a problem. Unmute. 48. No? 46? 45? What is the number? Now I have confused you all. 48, correct? No? So then at least acknowledge when I say Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So all of you ready. So I see a lot of ones anxious now. Can I have someone initiate today? Who's going to chant? I want each one of you all to take up on one day. See, reading, I understand. You may concentrate, you may not be sure. Chanting is just that you have to be chanting and we will all go behind the mics, behind the cameras also. You can open your cameras, you need not, but that's your choice. Who's going to do the chanting today? Hare Krishna. So before that, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, before that, let's finish. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mancha kalpata rupyascha, pita sindhubhya evascha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavo namo namah. Hare Krishna devotees, you can start the recording now.